So first I want to introduce my partner. This is Michael. We're working together for, we don't remember because it's so long, I think more than 10 years.
At least.
At least 10 years, yes. And yeah, we happen to know each other in IT context. We met at the Linux talk where Michael is one of the founders. Maybe some of you know this great thing, Linux talk. And Michael is a board game enthusiast, so that's the way we got into gaming, and we founded a company together which is related to gamification.
Yeah, I want to introduce Elmar Gese. He's, we know each other for many, many years, and he's the CEO of Tarent, the Tarent AG Holding, which our gamification company is part of. He administers inside the Tarent AG Holding now 6 companies, and one of these is a gamification company.
Okay, so let's get to our topic, gamification. So to give a short definition, gamification is applying game concepts in non-game scenarios. So why you do that, it has a purpose, is putting emotion into things which are not quite emotional at all. And yeah, so that's the concept of create and use intrinsic motivation. Some short facts about motivation. So they are, we speak about 3 drives which drive us. So one of them, primary drives, is hunger for sure, is thirst, and third one is sex. So this is what intrinsically drives all, beings.
All motivation.
That's motivation, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Secondary drives are drives which don't lie in us. These are drives which come from outside, and usually these are carrot and stick scenarios. So something attracts us, we get a reward for something, also where we get punished for our actions. This is usually what motivates us. Is it? No, it's not. It's not all, because these motivations or these motivators wouldn't answer the questions why you are here, why we are here, or, for example, why are we doing things like playing.
Yeah, there's a rooted in the soil version of that. Why are we games? Why are we playing games? And there's a wonderful book from Jane McGonigal which defines that games are showing us what we want to be, what we want to do, more satisfying work, more success, more hope for success, and ultimately the chance of being part of something bigger than ourselves. That's the motivation of playing games.
Yeah, I love the title of this book because reality is really broken. Okay, why do we play? There's a scientific version and there's a scientific answer to that. Maybe some of you have heard of this game. So if someone here is in the in some animal liberation movement, he or she will for sure know this guy because he's really done awful things. I won't cite them now. He really does really awful things like keeping animals away or apes away for 2 years and say to check out how they behave. But what he made in 1949 was an interesting experiment which really was revolutionary. He created that little box, that little machine, and gave it in an experiment to 12 rhesus apes, and just gave it them. Nothing, no rewards, nothing. Just gave it, and so let's see what happens. And what happened was, they were all able to open it. And they did this frequently, and they practiced that. And in the end, some of them could open this little box in less than 60 seconds, and they continued with that without getting any reward. And this was really fascinating because before that, everybody thought, okay, it must be one of the primary or the second drive to do something. You get some reward or you got something for that. But they didn't get sex for that. They didn't get food for that. They didn't get drink for that. But they continually had fun in doing this. So the driver, what drive them was, it was getting better just with the thing. So what was found out was a new drive which motivates us. Interesting thing was, they added rewards on that. They gave the apes raisins and thought, okay, now they will really improve better. But in fact, this wasn't the case. They slowed down. They were acting faster, but they didn't have the same good results. So this was another interesting outcome of that study in 1949, that they don't always produce better results by just adding rewards.
There are several other experiments on that field, and they all prove that giving just out free rewards like food or money or something is not the key driver of interest. We will come later to that point again, but we think that the key purpose of gaming for ourselves and for all beings is just to get better in gaming. And if you can transport with that motivation to get better in gaming something else, that's called gamification. So you transport something with gaming. And the outcome of that is, why are we playing games? Games are fun. We're having fun playing games. And there are things that are really, really boring. Making your tax forms or going to the fitness hall or something is a boring or unliked activity. You don't want to do that, or you have problems motivating yourself to that. And if you merge those two things, games which are fun, which have a high motivation of doing, and those boring things, then you do gamification. You gamify that boring things, making them more fun and more engaging.
Yeah, that's the real thing about gamification. It didn't work with that, so we didn't find the right game to go to the spa or to the fitness club, but we practice on that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, make people do something they don't want or don't like to do, and or make them do something they don't think of doing. So, gamification is also the enabler for new ways of approaching things, and this is also one of the key aspects of gamification.
In fact, it's a lot about manipulation. So if somebody tries to gamify you, he or she is for sure trying to manipulate.
But it's another thing that traditional marketing tries to make you want things. If you read the specific literature about the Kotler, for example, it's all about making people think they need something. But it's only a win situation for those who give the things to the people. And gamification is more of, in marketing terms, is more of a win-win situation, because you're getting a real value. You get fun and more, which we see in a few moments.
Yeah. Very simple example for gamification is that piss fly. It's not a quite beautiful example, but it works. So, and it's a really thing where nobody thinks about, is this gamification? For sure it is. Maybe if some of the guys have seen things like a little football goal and you have to try to push the ball in, and so this is a quite simple example. What is the motivation of that? Yeah, it's easier for the cleaning people. Okay, we found an example or some examples. One of them is here. The Nokia gift machine is gamification application, I think.
Yeah, it's the simplest form of a gamification application, which motivates people to do social activity with the Nokia brand.
Yeah, maybe you get one of these ugly phones out that don't work. Okay, this is an interesting example. Volkswagen concern, as you can see with the type. Makes interesting experiments, at least they did. They brought something up, a marketing thing called the fun theory, where they created gamification applications or even machines, put them out in the field, and saw what happened. This is a really funny one. Oh, it's a bit, no sound.
So this machine actually does not giving any physical reward. This machine gives only the reward of being fun and of scoring points. But the points have no value, no physical value, at least.
And you can really see, we don't have the, there's some sound with that. Anyway.
Yeah.
People have really fun with that. So, and
yeah, this proves that even non-physical rewards.
I love that guy.
Yeah. Non-physical rewards are working, and at least that is a reward that's not even connected to something like access or status or something else. Oh, we have a sound problem. That's maximum. That's okay.
Anyway.
I think we got the
It's not so
point.
important. Okay. Okay. So another funny thing with that example is that Volkswagen here uses gamification for gamification. So the purpose of the idea is to promote gamification and to make marketing for Volkswagen promoting gamification. I like that approach. World of gamification, because we have done so much time, we could talk about each of that things, more than an hour, but we will run really fast through it because there are a lot of gamification applications where you wouldn't expect them. Starting with, Michael already mentioned sports and fitness. It's always a problem. You go to fitness studio, to a spa, and you it's a difficulty to keep motivated all the time. So the Wii, for example, is a beautiful gamification machine for that because you train and you have the feeling that you're more playing. Your edutainment, we know that public relations, marketing, work. This is the typical example with work. It's the typical leaderboard thing. So there's a gamification application on Salesforce. I don't know if anybody of you is on Salesforce. I hope not. But no.
You can be the level 10 sales manager.
You can be level 10 sales. You can be the sales of the day, sales of the week. You get points for everything. This is the classical thing, the customer loyalty system. We come back to that later. This is a real cool gamification application. I know a community in the United States where more 1 million people are playing the game at getting as much points as possible. So traveling is not so much about getting from one point to the other. So they try really long ways to get from one place to another to get more points in that.
If you would dive more in these use cases, you would see that gamification concepts are used for vastly different purposes. There are customer retention, for example, and bringing new customer to the company or to the concept. And there are several different motivations that drive gamification applications in these fields. So gamification is a really, really wide field of applications in different ways.
Yeah. So we come to the business model of the whole thing. So gamification can be used for really beautiful things. It's used in business quite a lot, as we don't see it, and there are certain business models around that.
Yeah, channels are changing. 4000 BC and at least 30 years ago, we only had letters to interact on a message level. You had to write a letter to someone that travels 2 or 3 days. The recipient reads the letter, maybe writes a letter back, and there's a really, really slow interaction between people. Then email emerged, and that made things very, very fast. So you could interact with people much more closely than with traditional physical letters. But then, since a few years, we have the social networks, which accelerates that even more, and accelerates also the channel that we use inside the channel. So for example, an email is always or mostly targeted at one recipient or a small group of recipients. With social networks, I have a channel which is 1 to n. I can address 100, 1,000 people with only one message that I sent on the right social networking channel. So the channels are changing. And if you have more social interaction, and going from letter to email to social networks is more social interaction that you have. You communicate completely different with, for example, Twitter or Facebook than you would communicate with a letter or even an email. And more social interaction equals more emotion because you have more interaction with your peers, with your people. And more emotion, next slide please. Yeah. More emotion equals more engagement. If you have a product or a company and you get people to invest more emotion or get more emotion out of your service or out of your company or out of your product, you have more engagement. People are going for that emotion. And that's the key of gamification, what you want to achieve. You want to achieve more emotion.
Okay. Come back to that. This is a really interesting thing because if you reward people just something, this was what was found out is they take it and they will soon forget it. So this is always a problem. So you give something away, people come, and you forget you instantly. It's like giving free beer away on a party, and so we don't believe in the reward thing. And we don't believe so much in that making presents brings you forward if you create gamification applications. Our message is, in fact, that if you create emotion, you make a great gamification application. Because emotion is the glue in the brain which puts your message into the people you want to reach and makes it sticky in their heads. And everything, you only remember things where you got an emotional relation to. That's a really easy thing. So if you create emotion, it's easy.
So
yes, sorry.
So for example, what would you opt for? You have your favorite coffee house, and you have a preferred customer status. If you get into the coffee house, you can go right through the, you skip the queue, pass the queue, go directly to the counter, get your favorite beverage, and get it preferred for all other customers that are in the shop right now. Or, on the other side, the other possibility, you get a free coffee. You buy 10 coffees, you get one free. Which option would most people opt for? Most people would opt for the preferred customer. And the funny thing is that the preferred customer thing, that's vastly more emotion and vastly more improvement for the communication between the brand and the people, is also much cheaper to the company. So, for example, the Miles & More thing, if you want to upgrade, you just get seats in business class or first class that are vacated anyways. So this is nothing in terms of money for Lufthansa or the airline, but it gives you a status and a vastly superior status and therefore more emotion. And this is much, much more than free stuff.
Yep. An interesting thing in that area is, don't know, did anyone see a few that great gamification application, Build Your Burger by McDonald's? No one? I think it's a perfect gamification application. You can build your burger, and other people are invited, and you send this to your Facebook friends, and they can say, oh, I like that burger much, and so you are promoting the thing for yourself, and you get addicted to your own burger. And the interesting thing is that's the way McDonald's will produce burger in the future. So they're creating robots, and in the end, you will create your burgers, and you will bring your burgers to other people and try to convince them to buy your burgers, which in fact are McDonald's burgers. So it's a perfect gamification concept, and McDonald's is really leading in that.
So another example of strong emotions that are connected to something that it's normally not connected with any emotion is emotions can also be not a superior status about someone else, like on the coffee house or on the airline status or so, but the feeling of doing something good and giving people a feeling of doing something for the society is also a very, very strong feeling and a very, very strong motivator. Yeah. And this is, for example, used in Folded, which is an application where you can donate your calculation time of your hardware to science, or as you might know, SETI at Home, which searches for extraterrestrial beings by number crunching data from the SETI project. All these systems have leaderboards, and these leaderboards are used to compete with other people which are also donating their time and their effort into that good cause. And giving that, there's no physical reward, there's no any free stuff or something involved. It's just a good feeling to be the best donator to science, which looks for a solution to cancer, for example.
So this addresses two drivers in you. One is you give yourself, or people who join that give themselves a feeling of having a purpose, which is a nice illusion. And the second is be a part of a bigger thing, which is a nice projection. So this is perfect gamification too.
Yeah, but there are some no-goes for gamification. As we said before, emotion is better than free stuff. And if you don't have a well-designed business process, you can't make your business process good just by using gamification techniques. You can make it more convoluted. You can make it more difficult for users, and they will not accept that. Gamification is a process that you can't put over your existing business or existing product or existing process. You have to weave it in. And you have to make sure that you don't just add point systems and badge systems, achievement systems. Your business process must be fun, not convoluted. That's one of the key problems with gamification applications, very often.
Yeah. The exploitation-ware is another thing. You see lots of gaming applications like Rätsel, I don't get the English word now, sorry. Just gathering data of people or something else. And usually people will recognize that and will see that and will get out of the game. So that's not the solutions. It's always, we can say again and again, it's always about create emotions.
And there are...
Oh, okay. Nope, sorry. This is one really nice example, again, from that fun theory thing from Volkswagen. Don't know whether some of you know that. I need a little bit. Is there sound?
We can sing to that, but
okay. Das Mikrofon, hat das Sound? Dann lege ich das mal neben den Speaker.
So basically, they made a piano out of stairs. And you see the reactions of people.
Yeah, I love that.
You see the natural affliction of people to playing games and to try things out.
Even the dogs.
Even the dogs. Yeah, if you look at small animals, you see them play anyway. Yeah. What's the problem of the what's the key? Why are we doing this? People don't want to go the stairs. They want to use the escalator. But make it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this concludes our short introduction to gamification and very short introduction to what you can do with gamification and what you should not do with gamification. And we are now open for your questions.
And if you don't have any, we can tell something more about our company, which just should be a threat for you.